5.
Hey, what's going on? This is your boy 5-Piece, producer and engineer extraordinaire. Are you an artist, producer, engineer, or music professional that's looking for funding for your music career? Could you benefit from having funding for studio time, mixing and mastering, or even marketing costs? I think I have something for you. I've written a free ebook. It's 9 pages, super short and digestible, where I break down the 6 main places that artists and professionals like yourself can find funding for their musical projects. If this sounds like it's of value to you, please click the link below and you can download this for free today and benefit from this knowledge. I hope this helps. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.
Five.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is your boy 5-Piece, producer and engineer extraordinaire. If you haven't already, please hit the bell and the subscribe button below so you can stay tuned for more helpful tutorials and videos in the future. In this lesson, I'm going to talk about how to achieve a wider vocal sound using SoundToys Microshift plugin. Without getting into it too deeply, let's just jump into Pro Tools and I'll show you how to achieve this. In this lesson, we're going to talk about a way to approach vocals and specifically a way to actually address the master of the vocal. What I mean by this is we're going to process all of our vocals almost the same way by doing something to the bus that all of our vocals go to. If you look here in this session, this is a song by Stasia Daniels called Crew Watch, produced by myself and my buddy Slow Jams. I'll give you guys a link to that in the description. But if you see here, I have my main vox, which is a master. This is where all of my vocal tracks go. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to use a Microshift, which is a specific tool from SoundToys to basically enhance the stereo image and the width of my overall vocal sound. So this is going to affect every single vocal in my session. If you don't have Microshift, you can use other tools such as the doubler plugins from Waves, and you can even use a free plugin, I believe, called Multiply. Now, in this case, I'm going to use the Microshift, like I said, and it does a few things. It basically creates a duplicate of your signal, pans it left and right, and allows you to detune and delay that signal, right? But you're still going to have your original, unaffected signal still sitting in the center so long as you back up on your mix here, right? And that's what we're going to do because this is on our master. We're not going to want to process this too aggressively. We're going to want to try to dial in just the right amount and set it up so that it's just a little bit fuller, but not too crazy and too different from what we initially had. Let me just play you a little snippet of the track so you have an idea of what we're dealing with, and then I'll throw on the Microshift with very extreme settings, and you can kind of hear what it's doing without us actually trying anything. So take this in.
I've been proven wrong, so I'm not gon' fake it. Me and my crew, we don't care about you, none of your friends. We be doing our thing, we be doing our thing, doing our thing. Yeah, we doing our thing, yeah, we doing our thing, doing our thing. And we know that you watch it. Me and my crew, we don't care about you, none of your friends. We be doing our thing, we be doing our thing, doing our thing. Yeah, we doing our thing, yeah, we doing our thing, yeah, we.
I'll pause it there for a moment, but I think you understand. You can kind of hear what's happening. You can hear when I put this in, it's a little too drastic, right? It's kind of pushing things a little more into the background vocally, which is not necessarily what I want, but you can also hear that it is sort of widening them up, right? Now, we can dial in specifically how much detuning or pitch shifting we want, right? And also the same with the delay. I find with a loose delay, it's just a little too extra. It's just sort of, a little too elongated, and that can sometimes muddy up the sound, right, that you're applying this to. So I usually find myself easing more onto the tight side to just still create a little bit of a difference, a little bit of separation, but not have it be too drastic to the point where things are getting lost in the mix. The same kind of goes for the detune. When I do it on the max, it can sound very robotic, sometimes not even, human, very artificial, and that's cool for certain textures, but it may be too much, at least in this situation, and you obviously want to think about it the same. So I usually will find myself detuning it maybe upwards of half, maybe less than that, we'll see. I'm going to play it again and dial these in specifically, but before I do that, let's just talk about the style and the focus. The focus is sort of easy. It helps you just focus on a certain frequency with this effect and basically kind of gets rid of the mud, okay? So you're going to use this to really get rid of the lower frequencies on this effect and help keep it focused more on higher energy. So it's almost like a built-in filter in a way. The style is a little bit different. It basically offers you 3 curves, as I call them, and each of them, each step up, kind of increases the amount of the effect that you hear, with 3 being very stereo and wide and affected, and then 1 being sort of the least affected. Each of them, when they're at 100% wet, you'll hear them. You'll hear the effect being applied. But again, when you step up, you're going to hear even more of it, and it'll be more drastic. So in this case, I'm having mine set to 2. This is sort of the in-between, best of both worlds. And I'm going to leave these other settings, but what I'm going to do is take away my detune and my delay, and I'm going to just sort of dial them in manually. And then once I get them, I can even flip through the style just to sort of show you an idea of what each of them sounds like. Let's play this and do it.
I've been proven wrong, so I'm not gon' fake it. Me and my crew, we don't care about you or none of your friends. We be doing our thing, we be doing our thing, doing our thing. Yeah, we doing our thing, yeah, we doing our thing, doing our thing. You know that you watch it. Me and my crew, we don't care about you or none of your friends. We be doing our thing, we be doing our thing, doing our thing. Yeah, we doing our thing, yeah, we doing our thing, doing our thing.
So I've kind of flipped through the styles a little bit. I think 2 is still the best choice. I just sort of hear it working a little bit better on some of the other things that are happening, the little fill-ins and stuff like that. 3 is also really dope. They're all dope, but just 2 seems to be this sort of, mitigated where it's happening, it's there, but then it's just not too overbearing, which is what 3 sort of gives you. I like where the focus is. I've actually dialed this in before. And you can see usually it's already all the way here to the left, but this focus is sort of around what I would imagine is 1 to 2,000 hertz, which is where the vocal pretty much lives frequency-wise. So I'm going to keep it there for now. But then I really want to address this mix. I want to take this down. I don't want to keep it all the way here because this is too extreme. You can see when I bypass it, it is, the vocal does come forward when I bypass it, so this is obviously still pushing it too far into the background. I'm going to probably want to dial in a very light amount. I wouldn't be surprised if it was, somewhere between here and here, somewhere more on the dry side than the wet side. But what I'm going to do is start at the absolute driest it can be, play it, and then bring it in.
I've been proven wrong, so I'm not gon' fake it. Me and my crew, we don't care about you or none of your friends. We be doing our thing, we be doing our thing, doing our thing. Crew, we don't care about you or none of your friends. We be.
So you can hear what it's doing, you can hear the difference. I'm definitely keeping it more on the dry side and not having it be too present in the mix. However, it is just creating a little bit more width, a little bit more pizzazz, adding a little bit more to the vocal texture of the track. And I usually do this very gently like I am, just to sort of give it a little bit more of an enhancement and, create a little bit more width in the vocal because sometimes it's very focused and centered, which is, it should be. But after you've sort of done all your processing and stuff, you do want to sweeten it a little bit, and adding a little bit more stereo image can definitely help. And there you have it. A real simple and effective way to make your tracks a little bit wider, your vocal tracks at least, but you can apply this to other things like pads, pianos, synths, all kinds of stuff. Anything you want to just expand the stereo image of, just remember to keep mono compatibility in mind. And if you haven't already, remember to watch my mono compatibility tutorial. I'll include a link to that in the description below. If you got value out of this tutorial, please like, subscribe, and share with your friends, your producer friends, artist friends, anybody you think would benefit from this knowledge. And as always, stay tuned to my channel for more helpful information in the future. I'll see you guys soon. Peace out.
5.